Well, it seems like the left continues to put a conspiracy nut label on anyone who doesn't describe the 2020 presidential election as anything less than perfect. And to say otherwise on the platforms of big tech, even in brief, is inviting censorship. That's not the way a republic works. We're able to talk about these big issues that we disagree over and come to a consensus. Well, we're seeing the latest episode in Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Family Institute's Gubernatorial Candidate Forum, which was held last Thursday evening. Well, on Sunday, YouTube removed the recorded live stream video of the event, saying that it violates their misinformation policy. What was said during the event that triggered the content police at Google-owned YouTube? Well, joining me now to talk about this is Michael Geer, president of the Pennsylvania Family Institute. Michael, welcome to Washington Watch.
Hey, Tony. Thanks for having me on.
All right. So first, can you tell our viewers and listeners about the event that you held last Thursday there in Pennsylvania?
Sure. Well, we held it on the campus of Cairn University, which is in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, outside Philadelphia. It was broadcast on a major radio station there in the Philadelphia area, WPHT, as well as carried on the PCN, the Pennsylvania equivalent of C-SPAN. It was broadcast on there and live streamed with Pennsylvania Family Institute and over YouTube and Facebook and things. And we had 7 of the 9 GOP gubernatorial candidates that participated in it. We went on for 2 hours. It was I was moderating along with the radio show host from that radio station in Philadelphia, talk show radio host. We ended up asking the candidates a series of 11 questions on pertinent issues that are in front of Pennsylvanians. And so as we asked those questions of the candidates, each one was given a minute and a half, about 75 seconds to answer each question. Went through these series of questions. We got rave reviews about it for the people who were in the audience, people who sent us texts and emails afterwards. And then lo and behold, Sunday morning, YouTube says it violates their misinformation policy and was taken down.
So any further description? What was it that triggered their misinformation alarm?
First of all, it just came in an email, so there's no human being that actually talked to us. It just said, sorry, we're disappointed to inform you that it violated our misinformation policy. The only other thing it said was further information. It said that YouTube, this is a paraphrase, Tony, but it was YouTube does not allow any discussion of the 2020 U.S. presidential election that suggests there was fraud or wrongdoing or that the results are not as reported. Now, we didn't ask any questions specific about the 2020 presidential election. None of the questions from the moderators dealt with that. We did ask a question. Rich Zeoli, the talk show host, he asked a question. He said, my listeners, knowing I was going to be coming to this forum, asked me to ask a question about what you as governor would do if you're elected, what you as governor would do to restore integrity or restore voter confidence in the elections with mail-in ballots and with the Pennsylvania Supreme Court injecting itself into the process. What can you do to restore confidence to the voters? That was the question. And then we had 7 GOP candidates. They answered in the way that they thought was best, and I don't even recall the specifics of all the different answers, but they gave their answers, and whatever they might have said is what YouTube may be suggesting to us is why they took it down. But we also discussed a range of other questions, Tony, including the University of Pennsylvania swimmer, Leah Thomas, formerly William Thomas, who's been, capturing records, NCAA records. Talked about that issue. We talked about what's taught in schools. We talked about crime. So it may have been other things that YouTube flagged, but they don't tell us. And the appeals process, they didn't give us any further information or specifics of which candidate or which person in the forum said anything that was offensive. And ultimately, neither YouTube nor the Pennsylvania Family Institute in a forum like that should be the arbiters of what any of these candidates say.
Right.
It should be free flowing, say what you want, and let the voters decide.
Absolutely. I mean, you had 7 of the 9, is that correct? 7 of the 9
Yes, sir.
gubernatorial candidates that were there to talk about the issues. And look, there's no denying the fact that one of the issues that is at the forefront of the minds of Americans in almost every state, not just Pennsylvania, but every state,
Right.
is making sure that we have free and fair elections, that they know that their vote is going to count and not be diluted in any form or fashion. So it's a legitimate topic. It's not about going backwards. It's about going forwards and how.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a perfectly appropriate question to ask. But this is alarming, Michael, that YouTube
Absolutely.
is already censoring not a comment that someone made off the cuff, but probably the next leader of the state of Pennsylvania.
Right. Yeah, it is absolutely alarming. And I've talked to a number of reporters, some of whom who actually watch the forum and are kind of questioning the very same thing, like what possibly was said that would have triggered this. But what I've said to these reporters, we're still relatively early in the 2022 election process. I mean, we haven't even had the primary election here in Pennsylvania.
Right.
We've got many months to go. If big tech is going to put their finger on the scale already in this way and say these discussions are off limits and the people of Pennsylvania are not allowed to hear this, what are they going to do further down the pike when we get into the Republican versus Democrat in the general election to sort of tilt the scales on behalf of the people that they support or the ideologies that they support?
Now, Michael, have you appealed the ruling from YouTube?
Well, we did. They with the link that they sent us, the email that they sent included a link that said, if you want to appeal, click this link. We clicked the link, and it was a dead link. It said, sorry, something went wrong. So then we went further into our YouTube channel and found the way to appeal. But then the appeal process, number one, it said, here's our policy, which is against misinformation, the same one that I just mentioned to you.
Right.
And then it said, if you want to review your video to see what was wrong, click here. Now I thought, oh, good, they're going to give us a clue as to what words or what, let's 7 minutes in or whatever. Here's the problem. It just had the video there. It was like you watch it for 2 hours and you discern, you figure out what made us mad. There was no clarity whatsoever. And then finally, after you go to that, you click the next thing, and it has a little window where you have 800 characters to make your appeal. 800 characters, including spaces. So that's like, a very short paragraph, basically, to try to say, here's the case that we're making as to why you shouldn't have taken the video down. And we have not heard back from them yet.
Wow. Another wake-up call to the American public. Michael Geer, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for coming on the program today and for the great job you're doing there in Pennsylvania defending faith, family, and freedom.
Well, thanks, Tony. It's great to partner with you, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Michael Geer, Pennsylvania.